Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are in good health and in high spirits. Students, today we are going to discuss a few things about squares and square roots from class 8. Let's do. First of all, let's study about square numbers. Let's see an activity. As we know, these are natural numbers which start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. And out of these are odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7. Now, let's take the first natural number, that is 1. So, we take 1 square like this, and you know the second odd number is 3. The second odd number is 3. So, what do? We add 3 squares with this 1 square. Let's see how. 1, 2 and 3. As you see, we add 3 squares and what do we get? We get a 2 by 2 square here. This is a 2 by 2 square. Similarly, the next odd number is 5. So, what do? We add 5 squares to this figure. Let's see. 1 square, 2 squares, 3, 4 and 5. So, what do we get? We add, the third odd number was 5. So, we add 5 squares to the previous figure and what do we get? We get 3 by 3, a square of 3 by 3. So, what are we getting here? If we take first odd number, then we had got a 1 by 1 square. If we get the second odd number, to this we get a 2 by 2 square like this. If we add the third odd number, then we get a 3 by 3 square. Similarly, you will see if you add the fourth odd number, which is 7, to this figure. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. If we add the fourth odd number 7, that is 7 more squares to the previous figure, we get a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is, we get a 4 by 4 square. So, this way you keep on taking next odd numbers, you add those many squares to the previous figure and you will get the squares like this. So, with this activity, what do we learn? If we take first n odd numbers, then we will get n square. What square we will get? We will get n square. Now students, let's see a little bit more about square numbers. Students, as we have studied in exponents, 1 raised to power 2, that is 1 square, is 1 multiplied by 1 and it gives us 1. 2 square is 2 times 2, that is 4. 3 square is 3 multiplied by 3, that is 9. 4 square is 4 times 4, that is 16, and 5 square is 5 times 5, that is 25. So students, these numbers 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25. These numbers are called square numbers. These numbers are called square numbers. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. These are called square numbers, and we have seen earlier that how we could form these square numbers. Now let's move forward. Square roots. Before we understand square roots, let's do an activity. As you can see, we have a 1 by 1 square here. If we draw one diagonal across this figure like this, we can see through how many squares does this line pass? Only one square. That is, if this was a 1 by 1 square, so it passes through one square. Now let's have a look at this. In this figure, if we draw a diagonal like this, through how many squares does this pass? See, 1 square and 2 squares. This line passes through 1 and 2 squares. So this was a 2 by 2 square and it passes through 2 squares. Similarly, in this figure, which you can clearly see is a 3 by 3 square. It represents 3 square. So if we draw a line across this figure like this, through how many squares does this line pass? 1, 2 and 3. This line passes through 1, 2 and 3 squares. So students, these numbers that I have circled are representing the square roots. For a number which is represented by this 1 square, the square root is 1. For 4 squares, the square root is 2. If we have 3 by 3, that is 9 squares, then the square root is 3. Now let's study a little bit more about square roots. See students, we studied 1 square means 1 multiplied by 1, that is 1. 2 square is 2 into 2, that is 4. 3 square is 3 into 3, that is 9. 4 square is 4 into 4, that is 16. And 5 square is 5 into 5, that is 25. What does it mean? This is the square number 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. These are square numbers, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. These are their square roots. So how can we write square roots? We can write the square root of 1. This is the sign of square root. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2, as you see here. Similarly, the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of 16 is 4, because 4 times 4 is 16, and the square root of 25 is 5. So you can clearly see the difference. These are called the square numbers, and these are called, that is what we have written here, these are called square roots. Now we will study how to find square roots of square numbers. Let's go. Students, there are 3 methods of finding square roots of numbers. First one is repeated subtraction, second one is prime factorization, and the third one is division method. Let's study them one by one. Now first method that we are going to study is repeated subtraction method. Now, first of all, let's take a number, for example, say 64. I have taken this number 64 and I do have to find its square root. What I will do, we will first of all take odd numbers. As you see, the first odd number is 1. So, we will subtract 61 from 64 and what do we get? 63. Now, we will take the second odd number. Which is the second odd number? It's 3. So, now we will subtract the second odd number, that is 3, from what was left? 63. So, 63 minus 3 is 60. Now, we will subtract the third odd number. Which is the third odd number? If you count odd numbers, it's like 1, 3, 5. So, the third odd number is 5. We will subtract 5 from this number 60. See, 60 minus 5 is 55. Now, which is the next odd number? It's 7. So, 55 which was left minus 7 and we get 48. Which is the next odd number? It's 9. So, we subtract 9 from this 48 and what do we get? We get 39. Which is the next odd number? It's 11. So, 39 minus 11 we get 28. And next odd number after 11 is 13. So, 28 minus 13 is 15. And which is the next odd number after 13? It's 15. So, we subtract 15 from this 15 and we are left with 0. We are left with 0. Now, students, this 0 first tells us that the number that was given to us is a perfect square number. It's a perfect square, that is, it's a square number. Now, we have to find what is the square root of 64. So, let's count the number of steps that we have taken to subtract. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It means how many odd numbers we have taken? 8. So, the square root of 64 will be 8. The square root of 64 is 8. Similarly, if you get any other number, any other square number and you have to find its square root, you will follow this simple method. You will keep on subtracting only the odd numbers and when you get 0, then we count the number of steps and that number of steps will be the square root of 64. 64 square root is 8. As you know, 8 times 8 is 64. Isn't it simple? Now, let's study the next method of finding square roots. Next method is prime factorization method for finding the square root of numbers. Let's see. Now, suppose we do have the same number 64 and we have to find its square root. How do we do? First, we will find prime factors of 64. As you can see, the prime factorization of 64 is like, we take 2 and divide 64 by 2 and we get 32. That is 2 times 32 is 64. Next, again we take the prime number, that is 2. As you know that 32 is an even number, so it will be divisible by 2. So, we divide 32 by 2 and we get 16. 2 times 16 is 32. Now, again 16 can be divided by 2. So we take again 2. We have to take only prime numbers here. So 2 times 8 is 16. 8 is again even. So we take 2 again and we get 2 times 4 is 8. Again 4 is even. So 2 times 2 is 4 and we are left with 2 here. So we take 2 one more time and 2 times 1 is 2. So what are the factors of, what is the prime factorization of 64? 2 multiplied by 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 2. Let's write it here. 64 is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 times 2. 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. Now see, we have to find the square root of 64. So I put a root here and a root on its prime factorization too. 2 multiplied by 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 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now students, you look very carefully. What do we do? Out of these 2's, that is one pair, we take out 1 2 out of this root. Like this. We had 2 2's here. Out of these 2's, we take out 1 out of the root. Similarly, there are 2 2's here. Out of these 2's, we take out 1 which multiplies with this one, and out of this pair of 2 2's, we take out 1 and write it here. Now you see, in under this root. Now students, see here, first pair of 2 multiplied by 2 can be written as 2 squared. Similarly, second pair of 2 multiplied by 2 can be written again as 2 squared multiplied by, again third pair of 2 multiplied by 2 can also be written as 2 squared. So next line we are left with under root 2 square multiplied by 2 square multiplied by 2 square. And in the next line we can write them as 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 within brackets whole square. So students, when we open this bracket, this whole square will cancel with the root and we will be left with 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. And we get 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8. So what do we get? The square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 64 is 8. So this is the prime factorization method for finding square roots of numbers. Now let's see the third method, that is division method. Now let us take a number which is a perfect square like 729. Suppose we have to find the square root of this number 729. Let's see how to do it with the help of division method. Students, first of all we write this number 729 and put a line across this and on top of it like this. Now students, we have to see how many digits are here and we have to make pairs of 2 and starting from the right side. Let's see. There are 3 digits here. We will start from the extreme right side, take 2 numbers and make a pair like this. Now there are not 2 numbers here, so it's okay. It should be left as it is. If there were 2 digits here, we would have put them in one pair. Now always remember, we will take this pair together. First number is 7. There is nothing else, it's only 7. Now we will take numbers like 1 times 1 or 2 times 2 or 3 times 3 or 4 times 4, like this. We have to take square numbers like this. And their product should be equal or less than this number, as we do in division. Suppose we take the first pair, 1 times 1 is 1. Next pair is 2 times 2 is 4, which is less than 7. We have to be careful that we don't have to take a pair which is greater than this 7. The third pair is 3 times 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. 9 is greater than 7. So we cannot take this pair. So we'll take this pair, that is 2 times 2 is 4. So students, watch carefully. What do we have to do? We will write 2 here and 2 here also. So 2 times 2, whatever we write here, we will write here also. 2 times 2 is 4. We write 4 here, and we, as we do in division, we will subtract this. 7 minus 4 is 3. Now what do we do next in division? We copy the next digit down, but here we will copy the whole pair down. This is 2 and 9, which makes 29. So we write 2 and 9 like this. So what number do we get? We get 329. Now there is one more step. What is that? Watch carefully. We will add this number to the last digit written here. Now here this is number 2 and this is number 2. We add them, and what we get? 4. It means, and put up blank here. This blank means we will write something in front of 4 and we will write the same digit here also. Okay. For example, suppose we take 1. So it will become 4 and 1, 41, and it will be 1. So 40 times 41 into 1 is 41. Suppose we take the digit 2. So it will become 42, and here we will write 2. So 2 times 2 is 2 is 2 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. It's 84. Suppose we write 3. If we write 3 here, it makes it 43, and if we write 3 here, so we will multiply 43 by 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 4 is 2. It's 129. We need 329. So that means we have to take a larger digit. So let me take 6. If I take the digit 6, then I have to take 6 here. So that makes 46 multiplied by 6. Let's see. 6 times 6 is 36. Carried 1. 6 times 4 is 24, and 3 is 27. It's 276. Still, we need a greater digit. So let us take 7. 42 times 7 is, we have to write 7 here, and we have to take 7 here also. So that makes it 47 multiplied by 7. Let's multiply. 7 times 7 is 49. We carry 4. 7 times 4 is 28, and 4 is 32. We get 329, and here we had 329. So what digit do we need? It's 7. What digit do we need? It's 7. So we write 7 here and 7 here. Always remember, whatever you write here, the last digit should be repeated here also. They both of them should be the same. So 47 multiplied by 7 is 329, and when we subtract them, so 329 minus 329 will be 0. Now students, as you see, the remainder is 0, it means our division has come to an end. So we had to find the square root of 729, and the square root of 729 will be this number, and this is 2 and 7, that is 27. So we have to write 729, its square root will be 27. So this is the next method of finding square roots, that is division method. With this method you can find square roots of large numbers as well as decimals too. I hope you learn about all methods of finding square roots very easily. So students, in this video we have studied about square numbers, square roots, and with the help of some activities we have learned about finding square numbers and also finding square roots by 3 methods. Which were they? First was repeated subtraction, second was prime factorization, and the third was division method. I hope and I am sure that you have learnt about squares and square roots very well. Thank you.